You guys, I still have this Chanel hand cream. I think I bought it 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I guess there's really no expiration date because it still works fine and it smells good. It doesn't smell funky, so I don't think it's expired. But you see the outside little egg container is yellowing. It's because I've had it for a while. I don't love this. I feel like it's a very awkward shape to put in your handbags, especially in the mini bags. It was like 50 bucks or so. So I think it's really just the branding and the aesthetic, but it doesn't work well for me. Like, you just really have to squeeze it tight. However, I am forcing myself not to buy any more hand lotions until this is completely empty. While I am really into indulging and enjoying life and little luxuries, as you can see, I've got some of my handbags out today, designer items, expensive items. I do enjoy all of that, but I'm also kind of not a minimalist, but I really do appreciate the practices of true minimalists. And I'm all about decluttering what you're not using, making space, creating peace in the home by opening up spaces, and also being frugal and using what you already have. So this whole video is going to be about using and enjoying what you already have and taking better care of what you have so that they last. Seriously, just make your things last and you will spend a lot less money and a lot less time looking for new things, because it's kind of fruitless to just be searching for new items all the time, right? So this is just a small example. I'm going to empty this year, whether I like it or not. And then I wanted to share with you also how I take care of my items so that they will last longer. So here I just have a few examples of my handbags, and I know many of you are still waiting for a full-on closet tour, but I am not prepared to do that yet. I told you I have a very small closet living here in Manhattan, and I just don't know how to film properly at what angles to give you guys a good look, but I will try my best to get that in sometime this year. This is the Chanel mini flap in the gold. It is the sparkly treated lambskin, and I have been told ever since I purchased this bag that the lambskin and the shine on this will eventually rub off. And so far, I have seen no areas at all rubbing off. And I think it's because I am storing this very carefully. I'm very meticulous about taking care of my items, even if they're not expensive. Even if I bought it for like 50 bucks, if it's something that I like and I enjoy it, I take really good care of it so it'll last. So this is what it looks like. I always put the cloth right over so there's no rubbing. And I tuck the chain inside. I'm sure you guys have seen this many times when I've featured my Chanel collection. So here's I think this is the original tissue paper. It's some tissue paper. I almost never throw away tissue paper. I have like a craft closet, and so I save all the ribbons and gift bags and tissue paper, and I reuse them. So this is what it looks like on the inside. It looks practically brand new to my eyes. And so when we have items that we don't take good care of, like if I just thrown this around and it got really beat up and maybe the corners started wearing, or truly the gold shimmer started to dull because of too much rub, I may not really like it as much, right? And then we stop using our items, and then we feel like there's a lot of clutter in our closets and it's just a waste of money sitting there because we no longer want to use them. So I think part of making our things last and being able to enjoy them longer is to take care of them better, because when you take care of your items, they still look really nice, and then it makes you want to grab for them, right? So here's another bag. This is a collaboration that I did with Dress Up Your Purse. It is one of my most used bags these days, and it is very hard wearing because it's Epsom. But I wanted to show you, anytime you have a bag that has a handle like this, like a hard handle that does not fold down, you want to store it upright properly. So inside I have the strap as well as the tissue paper to make it kind of semi-full so that the structure doesn't collapse. But I would never put other bags on top of it. I would never lay it down like this to compromise the structure. I would never put anything on top of the handle to dent it or to push it down. So simple storage techniques that really help to maintain the integrity of your items. Then I have an old one here, a vintage. So this is a dust bag that I picked up from ZOOMONI, where I always get my organizer inserts, but they came out with these dust bags years ago, and I thought, why not try? Because this vintage classic flap came without a dust bag because I purchased it pre-loved from Fashion File years ago. So this is really nice. It's like a soft microfiber, and it's got the pocket on the outside so I can tuck the chains in without letting them press against the leather here. So let me show you. This is, again, vintage, over 20 years old. It's flattened over time. It's lambskin. It's really soft and supple. However, if I were to just store it like this, then the heaviness of the chains would eventually press down and indent the quilts. Even though these are flattened, they will still indent because these are kind of heavy compared to the soft leather, right? Here also, sometimes I see a little bit of like oxidization and discoloring, and so I always rub it and polish it, which seems to help and slow down the process. This actually came with a different classic flap that I purchased from the boutique. It is like a little hand cloth. You slip your hand in here. So I just keep it with this vintage because I like to wipe down the hardware with it. And also this zipper here tends to indent into the inner flap. This was already in this condition when I purchased it, pre-loved, but I got a great deal, so I didn't mind. But you know, if I were to continue to just keep closing it like this without any buffer, then it would indent in even further. So I try to put something right there. And this way, it's nice and protected. Here I've got another bag. This is Celine, and this is the original dust bag. But I also wrap it with this kind of like foam paper. I don't know what to call this. It's cushioned. This came with something else, and I saved it. And it was just the perfect length and size to wrap around my Celine classic box bag. And I'll show you how I do it. Probably have seen me unwrap this many times in some of my bag videos, but this is box leather, so it is more, I guess, susceptible to scratches. But many of you have asked me how badly has it scratched, and as you can see, really no visible scratches. This also I purchased pre-loved, and it might have had like one little nick somewhere. I can't even spot it. Oh, here are some scratches after some use, but this bag is like 6 years old, maybe 5 or 6 years old. And so if I were to just store this like that, without that foam paper wrapping, the sharp corners here, as you can see on the strap, may scratch along the box leather, which would be pretty unsightly, especially on the front here. So I do wrap it. It's unnecessary, but it protects the bag. And then in here I have some bubble paper to keep the structure. Again, I'm big on structure because if you buy a bag, whether it's expensive or not, it's got a certain structure and shape to it. And if that gets ruined because you don't store it properly or because, you know, you don't take care of it, then it's not going to look like the way the bag was intended to look, right? So I do try my best so that these items will last for many, many years and I can enjoy them for many years. And then this one here, many of you helped me with. This is my vintage Speedy 30. It's the classic without the bandolier, and I've decided to repair this, or refurbish it, I should say, because this was also a secondhand item for me, and you can see there's quite a bit of wear here, and I had thought about possibly sending this off to Louis Vuitton to replace all the vachetta leather, but I've decided against it. I did a whole video on that. If you are interested, I'll link it up above. But I think I'm just going to do a spa treatment at home, and I promise I will film the before and after so you guys can see. So things like this too, if it has gotten really worn, just figure out a way to rejuvenate it, if you will. And I also recently just got this ZOOMONI insert because I wanted to puff out the structure of this bag, because whoever used it previously, I don't think really used an insert, and so it kind of collapses. It's a very soft bag, as we know, the Speedy. It's meant to fold when we travel and pack it. But I got this here. I thought it was a nice matching kind of mocha chestnut brown color. This is the configuration. So I've put that in there. So small little investments like organizer inserts, right, can also really help a bag, especially if it has a softer structure, like if it's a tote bag or such as the Speedy. Rather than discard what you already have and buy a whole nother new bag, see if you can revive it. Also, I'm all about repurposing things. So this is a Dior box that I got when I ordered something. Can't even remember what I had ordered years ago. But I think that Dior packaging is really pretty. They might have the prettiest packaging out of all of the well-known luxury designer brands. And so I repurpose these boxes. Sometimes I will line my drawers and my kids' drawers with flatter, shorter boxes, and then I will roll up their socks, their undergarments, their tank tops. But this shape I thought was perfect for napkins, so I leave this in our dining area. And the color scheme works because my dining area is very like cream, tan, and pink. And even though this is not pink, it gives like similar aesthetics. So yeah, I know it's not meant to be a napkin holder, but why not? Rather than me go out and buy a napkin holder, I'm just repurposing what I already have and I'm enjoying it. Also, I have to show you these. I've shown these years ago, and you might have seen a peek of these in my What's in My Bag videos, but these are the little tiny pouches, like they look like miniature dust bags that come with your Chanel order. So if you were to order something from Chanel Beauty like perfume or lipstick, they will almost always have you select samples before you check out online, and the samples are tiny, right? So they'll put them in these little pouches, and over the years I guess collected several pouches, and I'm not for keeping just junk or clutter, but these are useful. So this is the perfect size for storing your feminine hygiene products. And then it becomes really discreet. You put them inside your handbag and no one knows what it is. You can use it for other things too. Like when I look on Amazon, sometimes I see these like little pouches like this, drawstring pouches or elastic pouches. And you're paying money to buy those pouches. They're like little cloth pouches to store your items. Why not use what you already have from these types of orders, right? And this I've shown before also. This plastic is from Fashion File. Years ago when I used to order more from Fashion File, they would always send out these nail files that were in these little plastic cases, I suppose. And I don't know if they still do this. Please let me know if you are aware. But this is the perfect size for a pen. If you don't want your pen to explode or leak inside of your handbags and you want some coverage, you can literally just pop it into this, which was meant for the nail file, but it holds pretty much any size pen. I've tried with so many. And if you can also tuck it in and close it if you want it to be extra, extra secure. So I know that they sell pen holders or pen cases, but again, why bother if you can just reuse something that you have? Now with clothes, I'm sure when we open our closets, for all of us, there are some clothes where we're like, oh, I've been ignoring these. I don't like it as much anymore. It doesn't fit well. It looks worn. This color is not for me anymore, whatever. For me, it is this short sleeve cashmere sweater. I used to like a lot. I wore it for many years. And for some reason, I just have turned against it. It's a light gray, and you guys may know I'm not really a big fan of gray, so don't ask me why I bought this in the first place. Back then, I wore more gray, I guess. Now I'm just not feeling this, and I thought, oh, let me just get rid of it because I don't like to hold on to things. But when you have something like this that there's nothing wrong with it, it's not itchy, it's not uncomfortable, it's not torn or stained, you can still make use of this. So I have been wearing this as an undershirt. Like when it's really cold, like this winter was freezing, I could wear this. It's cashmere, it's super warm. I would wear this under another sweater and you can't see it. Only I know I'm wearing it, and it serves a purpose. There's function to it. It may not be the most attractive sweater to me anymore, but it's still keeping me warm. Or I would just put this on and throw on a sweatshirt. Again, nobody will see it. So things like this, it's wasteful to just shove in the back of your closet and ignore it. Also wasteful to throw it out or discard it because you don't want this going to the landfill. There's already so much waste out there. Here is another sweater that I quite enjoy. It's just a navy sweater from Theory. It's also cashmere. However, I've had it for years and it is pilling. So what I do from time to time is I will use my D-pillar. This is the one that I've had for years. And see, like, here's a spot where there's some pilling. So I will just work my way through my clothes like this so that they are refreshed. And sometimes when you have a lot of pilling, you feel like, oh, this old thing, you don't feel like wearing it. This is kind of a meditative exercise for me. It's really relaxing and soothing, and then you feel very satisfied seeing the before and after. So don't be quick to discard clothes that you once loved just because they're worn now. If you can give them another life by doing something simple like depilling, why not, right? There are other tools that I also rely on, like this lint roller. So simple, but if you have hair that gets stuck to your clothes, or dust, or if you have pets and you get fur on your clothes and you're thinking, ugh, this looks horrible, just roll it with a lint roller instead of automatically thinking I need to go out and search for something new. Also, this is my portable steamer. This has come in handy so many times when I'm in a pinch. It's small, it's easy to store. You can also travel with it. But when it comes to like linen or dresses, somehow skirts always seem to get wrinkled and you just want to look more polished. Any anytime you wear anything that is either ill-fitting or wrinkled, it makes you look frumpy, right? So you can have a beautiful article of clothing, but if it's wrinkled and not properly steamed or ironed, then it's not going to feel great. So this, I think, was only like 30 bucks or 40 bucks. I have used it, I don't know, countless times, and it has saved my clothes many, many times. Now, also with shoes, I like to store them a certain way, so they're not going to be on top of each other. They're not going to be in a pile. They're all going to be standing upright. And my closet is tiny, but I do store these upright. And the ones that I don't fear getting squished, if they're more durable, I will stack them like this inside a little cubie. But this is suede and it's got dainty little straps, and it came with all this little foam paper and tissue paper, so I just kept it. I threw the box away because I have no space for that. But if I hadn't kept the paper in there, I'm sure over time the little straps would have collapsed and then they wouldn't look so good, and then I wouldn't want to wear them, right? So these I've had for a long time. Same with these Gucci loafers. I got them soled. Rubber soles on the bottom so they'll last a long time. If you have shoes that you really love but now they're so worn on the bottom that you can't bear to wear them, just bring them to a cobbler. It's likely going to cost you a fraction of the price of the actual shoes, and you're also just making your items last longer so they don't wind up being wasted. Also in here I've got tissue paper just to keep the top of the loafers structured, otherwise they might collapse, right? Also, I think that we are all pretty creative creatures by nature, and so if we stop to think what can we do to either refresh or repurpose items that we already own, I'm sure we can come up with a lot of ideas. This is a super old pair of jeans. They are so thinned out and so worn, but they're really comfortable. They're like, you know, when they get so soft and worn that they're the most comfortable pair of jeans I have, but I don't really love the cut on the bottom. So rather than just throw them away or donate them, I am going to cut these and see how they feel as shorts this summer. And if I can give this pair of jeans a second life, that will make me really happy. I will also sew buttons that have fallen off. I will sew little tears or holes in my kids' clothes, my husband's clothes. My husband's Hermes polo, one of the buttons popped off recently, and I was like, give me that button, and I just sewed it right back on. His belt that I got him a while ago from Hermes, not cheap, it pretty much tore because he wore this leather belt every single day for the past, I don't know, couple of years, and I was just going to get him a new belt, and he was the one that said, can you just see if this can be repaired? I brought it to a cobbler, and they did a wonderful job. So I think that we have extended this belt to live at least another couple years, and we've obviously saved money in the process. So I hope this video was helpful in some way, and I hope that it encourages you to take a fresh look at the items you already have in your home, in your closet, appreciate more of what you have, and just use and enjoy everything you have. See if you can repurpose or refresh your items and fall back in love with them. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.